Jason Caldwell entered the Army of the United States in 1942 with the rank of second lieutenant. One afternoon, 3 years later, a combat patrol led by Jason Caldwell, still a second lieutenant, was pinned down by heavy enemy crossfire. He knew that if he moved forward, he would either die or earn himself a captaincy. If he retreated, he would earn himself a court-martial. So he neither retreated nor advanced. A year later, Jason Caldwell came out of the Army alive and still a second lieutenant.
There's one.
Now, 18 years later, Jason Caldwell once again will come under crossfire.
Come on, I haven't got all day.
Do you want me to go out and talk to him?
You stay right where you are.
I can go upstairs by myself. You didn't want to go up anyway, did you?
Oh, brother, I'm getting pretty sick of this guy.
Why don't you just ignore him? It seems silly to sit here at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Why don't you shut up? Why don't you make me shut up?
Look, it's broad daylight. I think I can go upstairs by myself.
You go ahead if you'd like. But he's not going to get the space. He can stand on his head until the cows come home.
But I don't know.
It's just a matter of principle.
What are you, some kind of a wise guy?
Now, do you want to pull your car to my parking place, or would you rather sit here all day?
What do you
It doesn't make any difference to me either way.
Your parking place? What do you mean, your parking place? What are you,
Mister,
one
I
of these
asked
guys?
you a question.
Go ahead. You want to wait here all day?
Suits me.
What are you trying to do? Prove to this lady what a big, handsome, tough guy you are?
Mister, I don't have to prove anything to you or to her.
Go ahead. Prove what a big, handsome, tough guy you are. Go ahead.
Don't tip me.
You're a big fighter, aren't you? A big fighter with your mouth.
Mister, if you think I'm going to stand out here and argue with a miserable creep like you, you're
He's a creep! Well, you're not such a tough guy after all, are you? You're just a big, handsome slob with a big mouth, and you haven't got the guts to back it up.
Jason! No! Jason, please don't! Jason, stop! Jason, don't! Jason, stop! Please stop! Jason!
Where are you going now?
I don't know.
Jason, please take me home.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get you a cab. I'll get you a cab. I don't think I should go back there. Not just now. I mean, there's no point in looking for trouble. You know what I mean.
Jason, you just killed a man.
What do you mean? Who says he's dead? He was like a wild man. I mean, I hardly even touched him.
But don't you think that we should go to the police and maybe try to explain what happened?
Explain? A little man like that? Who would believe me? The cops? They'd lock me up and swallow the key.
Jason, I saw the whole thing. I could testify for you.
That would be just great. What do you want to do? Broadcast it to the whole world? That I'm a... Me and my secretary. That would be great. Just great. What do you want to do? Ruin me in 1 minute?
Well, where are you going now? Jason, where are you taking me?
I'm taking you where you want to go. Where you've wanted to be all along. With me.
Got his head bashed in. Don't know what else. Boy, that'd be enough.
Did anybody see anything, hear anything, an argument or a scream?
Nothing that's of any use.
That's not what I asked you.
I heard some noise, but I thought it was just, you know, the usual kind of traffic argument.
Well, can you remember any of the words that was said?
Well, they was just hollering, the usual stuff.
Well, what is the usual stuff around here?
I heard somebody cry out.
Did you get any of the words?
It sounded like, "Don't do it, Jake, don't do it."
Jake?
Yeah, Jake. Or James, or... No, I'm pretty sure it was Jake.
Was it a man's voice or a woman's voice?
Well, he was a man. I guess it was a man's voice.
Did anybody else hear it?
Are you working for the police laboratory?
Oh, me? No, I just...
Now, would you get away from the car? Any skid marks? Does anybody here know this man?
Who would do a thing like that?
Help you?
It don't make sense.
It might have been a stick-up. Come on, maybe you'd better bring your mother home. We'll talk to you later.
Where were the police? They're probably out tagging some guy who was 5 minutes over parked. Come on.
One of the worst traffic accidents in years occurred early today. 3 persons were killed instantly in a spectacular head-on parkway crash. And now for the weather. Bitter cold
Jason?
broke low temperature records across the eastern half of the nation today.
Yeah.
The high-pressure ridge that was expected to move in.
Did they say anything about
is moving very
what
slowly.
happened?
Rain is expected.
No, they didn't say anything about
with
what
clear
happened.
skies finally-
I told you that guy was faking.
Darling, why don't you try and take a nap for about an hour until you...
What for? The less alert you are, the less attention you draw to yourself. just like the Army. Keep your shoe shine and never volunteer for anything.
I hate it when you talk like that, as if you didn't think you were worth anything.
Well, suppose you tell me what I am worth. 41 years old. Still the 41st junior vice president. In charge of not rocking the boat.
Darling, why don't you try to take a nap? I can get you a tranquilizer.
I don't need a tranquilizer. I've done nothing to be untranquil about, have I?
How about a nice cold shower, huh? And then I can make some coffee.
I don't want any coffee. Just leave me alone, will you?
Jason, just try and get a little rest, huh?
I better drop you off at the subway. Well, you know how I have to watch my step. I mean, it's kind of like being in the Army. An officer buddying up with an enlisted man. You know what they call that? No kidding, you know what they call that? The liaison downward. What are you gonna do?
Jason, don't you think that maybe you ought to go to the police and tell them the whole thing? I mean, you know, just for the record.
What record? My record? I haven't got a record. Do you want me to start one now?
It was self-defense. I was there. I saw the whole thing. I could be your witness.
You think they care? You think they really care what happened?
Well, who? The police? Oh, I'm sure they do.
I mean the boys in the 11th floor, the brass. They've got it made. Look at me. You're gonna make the club by the time you're 42. You might as well take the elevator to the top of the building and see what a big splash you can make. They don't care if you murder your wife or spit on the flag. Or even if you're innocent. The crime is to get caught. Don't you know that? Don't you know anything?
I just want to make sure that you're clean. The rest of it is none of my business. Do you know why we brought you in here? You know what happened in your neighborhood this morning?
I heard about it when I went down for the paper.
What time was that?
About 7 o'clock.
Where were you before then?
Would you believe me if I told you I was at home in bed asleep?
Mr. Megley, I'm going to have to ask you to push up your sleeve.
Sure. Okay. Today, for the first time, I'm going to be late for work.
Mr. Megley, you know you have 2 convictions for assault and battery. Once when you needed money for a fix, and once when you were under the influence.
Mike, there were no major withdrawals or deposits, no gambling debts, no women he was keeping, no enemies.
Just a good old-fashioned mugging, huh?
Except they didn't touch his money.
I'm sorry I made you late for work. I'll see to it that you got a lift in the squad car.
Please, Lieutenant. Took me a long time to find a place where they didn't insist on knowing why I'd left my last job.
Let me pay for a cab for you, huh?
It's all right.
Jason. Morning, Jason.
Morning, boys.
Did you get those papers out to the agency?
Oh, I'll get them out first thing this morning.
For Pete's sake, you were supposed to have them out 7 days ago.
Hey, heard about MacGyver?
Mm-hmm.
Busted his leg skiing over the weekend.
Yeah? What about the office in Brazil? Who's going to take it now?
Well, I don't know. You want it?
Jason here. He wouldn't want that job for any money in the world, would you, boy?
What job?
Oh, Jason be just the boy for the job. He's got no dirty habits, like skiing. Have you, boy?
What would you do if you got it? Would you take your secretary with you?
Are you kidding? My heart belongs to the organization. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Caldwell. Your mail is
Get
on
Mr.
your...
Twilliger for me right away.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Twilliger, this is Jason Colwell. Do you happen to be free for lunch, sir? There's something rather important I'd like to discuss with you. Well, no, sir. I don't think it can wait. I wouldn't bother you if it wasn't... Thank you, sir. Well, anyway, my whole approach in Brazil would be not to impose our methods all at once, but rather to find out how they do things and then modify them gradually well, that way we'd avoid a lot of friction and resentment, anti-Americanism. You see, I was up against the identical situation with the military government. That way I learned to avoid the...
Excuse me. Excuse me, Mr. Caldwell. May I speak to you for a moment, please?
Does it have to be this very second?
Well, sir, it's rather important.
Would Would you excuse me for a moment? What is it?
Jason, I need an extra hour for lunch.
Is that what was so urgent?
Well, if I'm going to stay at your place, I'll have to go back to my apartment and get certain things.
Are you out of your mind? Don't you know the police will be asking
But
questions?
there are certain things I need. Jason, I haven't even got an extra pair of stockings with me.
Well, go buy some stockings. Get a dozen pair. Get a couple of dozen pair, but have a little sense of proportion.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
No sense of proportion.
She obviously adores you.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, come now, Jason. Oh, thanks.
What? No, I ask you. Now, honestly, she looks at everybody that way. I don't speak Portuguese, but I pick up... They don't make them like they used to.
Very well, Jason. I'll let you know.
Hey, buddy. Is this your cab?
Yeah, that's my cab.
Would you mind moving it so I can get my car out of there?
I'll be out of here as soon as my fare comes down.
Well, I just want you to move it a couple of feet.
You can wait a minute.
Look, mister, if you don't mind, I'd like to get my car out of there.
What makes you think your time's any more valuable than mine, huh? Go ahead, stand there. Eat your heart out.
All I asked you to do was...
Drop dead.
Mister, that license you have is a pretty valuable piece of property.
You gonna make me lose it? Police commissioner's a friend of your daddy's?
Move that cab.
You wanna get tough about it, huh? Right. I've been wallowing in aggravation all day. Cops, deadbeats, pedestrians, truck drivers, stop signs,
now listen.
No U-turns, a knock in my engine. I'm just about ready to pop off and belt somebody, and it might just as well be you as anybody.
Adam!
Come on,
let's go.
Come on.
Adam, please, come on, let's go back and have another cup of coffee.
Go
huh?
ahead, have another
Come
cup
on.
of coffee.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead. Go ahead, have coffee.
Just coffee, please. Adam knew you had me scared out of my wits just now. What was the matter with you? If the man was giving you a hard time, why didn't you just tell him you were a police officer?
I don't know. I guess it would have been like pulling rank. Or like saying I couldn't handle a situation man to man. Well, after all, he wasn't breaking any law.
Showing off for your girl like any red-blooded high school boy.
I was not showing off.
You know, I believe that you're actually ready to stand there and start slugging or something. Like some kind of... You didn't feel you had to do that for my sake, did you?
Escalation.
What?
Honey, a couple of days ago over on West End Avenue, a man was killed. There was no motive, no clue, no nothing. I bet it could have... Yeah, I bet it could have been just over a stupid, childish argument about a parking space.
Come on now, Adam. People don't kill each other quite that casually, even in wicked old New York City.
Well, wait a minute. Look at how I behaved just a minute ago. And that cab driver. He's not such a bad guy. It's just that, well, too many things have piled up on him today. And me, too. If you hadn't come between us, who knows how far we'd have gone. And once you start these things, they're pretty hard to stop. There's no turning back. All you can do is escalate.
Come again.
Oh, escalation. That's a lovely new word, honey. It's a theory about how the next world war may start. See, one party will say, don't push. And the next party says, so is your mother. And the first party says, I bet I can kill you better than you can kill me. And the second party says, oh yeah, let's see you try. That's escalation. Well, I know this. If Libby hadn't separated us, we'd have wound up killing each other.
What does that prove? That you're a man? That you've got a temper?
I don't know. Maybe just like inside of every fat man, they say there's a thin man screaming to get out. Well, maybe inside of us, and not too far from the surface, there's the original Cain, the killer ape, the Neanderthal skull buster.
And that's who killed Mr. Banks?
Yes.
For no reason.
Frank, for a very good reason. For a parking space. Oh, admitted, that's the final straw.
Now, what are the other straws? The indignity of urban life?
Look, Mike, I just don't believe that man was made to live like sardines in a dented can. No room, no air, no silence, no privacy. And with violence brushing up alongside of him like an alley cat at every turn. Well, Frank, how many times have you remembered a guy being brought in here with a busted skull over an argument because of a front-rear collision? And it wouldn't have cost over $2 to have it fixed.
I want you to go through that block like a rent collector, door to door. I want you to find out the men who work night shifts, the waiters, the men who go to Turkish baths, the girls who get home at a very late hour, everybody who might be seeking a parking space at 5 o'clock in the morning. That enough to prove your theory?
Banks? Victor Banks? My name is Jason Colwell. I don't suppose your father even mentioned my name, but the truth is, we got to know each other rather intimately before this terrible thing happened. I just want you to know that they'll find the guilty person, and he'll be punished. You can be sure of that. And if the police don't find him...
I hope they don't. I just hope and pray I get my hands on him first.
There's a rumor around the office that you're up for that job in Brazil.
Well, you can dispel the rumor. I'm not going to get it. You can bet on that. That's dangerous.
Well, he's just going to get angry.
Then what?
Just lock the door.
What's the matter with that guy? You looking for trouble or something?
I wish I knew.
Well, Vic, you've parked on this block often enough to have seen things like this.
When I can find a space.
Do you recall any incidences of people that were especially belligerent about things like this?
It'd be easier to answer if I could think of anybody who didn't turn into some kind of a wild animal every time he had to try and park around here.
Yes, I know what you mean.
There were times when I got pretty punchy myself after driving around the block 20 times.
Well, of course, you're not a suspect. Well, Vic, thank you very much for your cooperation.
Of course, I could tell you one man who could go into a real temper over a thing like that.
Oh? Who's that?
My father.
Paula? Paula!
Yes, darling?
What's all this?
Don't you like it?
You went back to the apartment, didn't you?
Well, I needed a few things.
I see. I see. Now you've simply moved in and taken over, huh? You think you're on to a pretty good thing. You've got me dead to rights, haven't you? Oh, I can't turn you out now. Because you could blow the whistle on me anytime you please. What are you doing?
Packing. I'm gonna go home.
Now, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When you went back to the apartment, did you see anybody?
Had the police been there? Well, you can't go back there now.
Don't worry. They're only interested in people that have cars that park in the street.
You mean they know what the fight was about?
I guess so.
Hey, why don't we go out and have some dinner, huh?
But I've already cooked dinner. I
Well,
thought
you
we
don't
could...
want to spend half the night in the kitchen? I'll put on a tie and we'll go.
Jason, don't you want to be alone with me anymore?
Well, of course I do. You know I do. It's just that I don't quite trust myself alone. You know what I mean. You've been a tower of strength through all of this. Not that I deserved it. But I've gotten to know a lot about myself these last couple of days. I've gotten to know a lot about you, too. I think you're pretty wonderful. I really mean that. And well, can't you see what I'm leading up to? I'm asking you to marry me. Well, what's the matter?
I don't want to marry. I want to marry you. But not like this. Not while you're still trying to punish yourself. I don't want you to marry me for punishment. I want to mean more to you than just a sock in the eye. Jason, where are you going?
Tried to break up a fight, and they turned on him.
You know any of the people that hit you?
I never saw him before. But, sorry, it was all my fault. I got what was coming to me.
How many fellas were there? Uh-huh.
Can I speak to one of you right now, please? It's about the man who was killed on West End Avenue. the other day.
I'll call you back.
Call me back in a few minutes, will you? Come right on in, miss. Have a seat.
It was self-defense. I can swear it.
Self-defense on whose part?
Mr. Jason Caldwell, my boss. 41st Vice President in charge of not rocking the boat. Look, I know he's not going to want to see me after this, but I just couldn't let him go on doing these things to himself.
What things?
Punishments.
If he wants to be punished, why doesn't he come in and sign a confession?
He thinks he'd be disgraced. He thinks people wouldn't like him anymore, not the important people, the brass, the people that he thinks really count. When you find him, please don't hurt him. He's going to try to make you hurt him, but please don't. Please don't hurt him.
Well, just keep moving around the neighborhood and I'll get 2 more cars out there. Right. He just threw a bottle at the window of a patrol car, but they didn't get him. I'll have to go arrange for 2 more cars.
Have some coffee. You know, it's amazing what happens to people. Nice, kind, ordinary folk. If the temperature that day is 10, or it goes up to 102, or his boss yells at him, or his wife says she's sick and tired of looking at him, or a cop gives him a ticket that he doesn't think he deserves. What is it that the psychology boys call it? Misplaced aggression. You think all a cop has to do is chase gangsters? I tell you, life could be so simple if people would leave crimes to the professionals.
Yeah?
Remember me? Jason Colwell. At the cemetery.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you want?
I want to talk to you.
About what?
You said something at the cemetery about the man that killed your father.
What was that?
You said, I just hope and pray I get my hands on him first.
So?
So, I'm the man. Jason Colwell. I'm not a murderer. But I killed a man. I should have married her a long time ago. I wouldn't have had all this trouble on a parking place.
Have a seat, Mr. Cole.
There are 8 million stories in the naked city. This has been one of them.
This has been a Screen Gems film presentation. Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.